Hello everyone, Johnny R here at Tom with Volkswagen Indianapolis, coming to you with another React video, just like we did with the 2022 Taos. We had Hein Schafer here going over that vehicle before it arrived here on our lot. Now we have Heinz and the great Megan Closset going over the 2022 Mk8 GTI and Golf R, and specifically ones for us here in the United States. So this is some exciting information. I already watched it once, so I'm ready to give you my take on a lot of this cool information. Some of it very new to us here in the US market. So if you've already watched the video, great. And if you're watching it for the first time now, happy to go through it with you. So without further ado, let's go.
President of Product and Strategy, and with me I have...
I'm Megan Closset. I'm the product manager for the GTI, Golf R, and Arteon.
Cool, and we're here today to talk to you about the all-new Golf GTI and the all-new Golf R.
Oh yeah.
Megan, before we dive into the new car, let's take it back to Generation 1. Where did it really all start?
Way back in 1983 for the US Hein, we had the Mark I Rabbit GTI, a whopping 1.8 liter, 90 horsepower, 5-speed manual, really special car. Started to show Americans that they could have a practical, fun-to-drive car that didn't really compromise on a whole heck of a lot.
So fast track forward, 7 generations on, and now we introduced the Generation 8. And this still has some of those original heritage elements that were present in the Mark I. Talk us through some of those elements.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the very front, you've got some red elements going right through the grille, you've got a large version of the honeycomb elements that carry into the interior as well. So honeycomb was a big GTI piece. You've got red accents throughout the car, you've got red brake calipers, you've got standard flat cloth sport seats, which take it all the way back to the first generation. And then even on the manual transmission, you'll recognize golf ball details on the Mk8, just like we had on the Mark I.
And I remember the Mark I had a 14-inch alloy wheel. This guy's got something a little bigger.
Yeah, that's right, Hein. So the 18-inch wheel is standard on the Mk8 GTI, but for the first time in North America, we're offering an optional 19-inch alloy wheel that you can see here.
And the Mark I had something like, what, 90 horsepower under the hood?
Yeah, 90 horsepower for the US.
So that's interesting. It used to be before, just in the GTIs, you could opt for summer tires here in the US, but not a 19-inch alloy, which seemed to be pretty exclusive to the Golf R. So pretty cool stuff.
That's 1.8 liter, normally aspirated.
Talk to us about what's under those hoods.
A little bit of an upgrade. 4th generation of the E8 888 motor, so still a 2-liter TSI direct fuel injection, which we're familiar with from the previous generation. But now, thanks to advancements in that engine, we're at 241 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. And still, just like previous generation GTI, either a 6-speed manual, of course, or the great 7-speed DSG.
And that's a big talking point. I mean, many manufacturers today have walked away from the manual. We at Volkswagen have retained that manual. So the Mark 7, improved enhancements to suspension, driving aids, etc. as well.
So everything on the vehicle has been optimized from the previous generation, and you're looking at quite a bit more standard content on every trim level. We've retained the same familiar S, SE, Autobahn trim level that we had throughout pretty much all of the 7th generation, with more standard content at every trim level as well. So whether it's having LED headlights standard on the S trim, or having brand new features for the Autobahn trim, such as a heads-up display, or rear heated seats, or ventilated front seats, the new Mk8 GTI is all about having the same great standard performance and sporty content, but upping the game quite a bit in terms of some of the more luxury or comfort content.
So now the only concern is brand new
Shifter,
car,
though.
better engine, better suspension, more standard content. Does that mean the price jumps a lot?
I think we have quite a big win here.
Yep.
We take an S-trim manual transmission 2022 brand new GTI built in Wolfsburg, Germany. $29,545 is the MSRP for that car.
Awesome. Should we jump in the interior and talk about the inside?
It's pretty hot. I think that's a good idea.
100 degrees out here. Let's get in there.
All right.
All right, Megan, so I am in the back of the GTI. I'm not the smallest individual, I'm 6'5", but relatively comfortable in the back here.
Okay,
In front of me, I can see these beautiful integrated headrest sporty seats. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, I think that was actually one of our big wins for this generation Hein. We saw these on the European specification vehicle, and we were worried that they wouldn't come for the US model. And here we are, we're in a US spec GTI, and we've got these beautiful integrated headless seats.
So that's pretty cool. You know, I think, what was it, the Mark IV GTIs, they had Recaros in them last. Maybe Mark V, correct me if I'm wrong here. You know, with the one-piece seats. That's pretty cool. Very, very sporty, very racing. I'm really excited to see how they feel when it actually comes in. So, neato.
You've got nice bolstering on the leather vehicle. You've got perforations, which of course mean the Autobahn trim or optional leather seat package. On the SE trim, you've got ventilated seats. Heated seats remain.
So while I don't have any build sheets or order guides for the Mk8 GTI or R, it's really nice that Megan let loose that there will be an optional leather package on the SE. So if you like those Clark plaid cloth seats, that straight up GTI heritage that she's mentioned, you'll be able to get that on your entry level and be most cost effective. But if you want additional features, which I'm guessing stuff like, sunroof and the full Kessie, still don't know if that's going to be standard yet or not, or just, the upgraded things you get with an SE trim GTI, you can still have those cloth seats. So that's pretty neat. But if, you prefer leather, kind of like I do, you could go with the SE model and still get leather. So giving folks a choice instead of, just saying, hey, the SE's going to have cloth. And folks like me who but I like my SE with leather, have to jump up to the Autobahn. Or, folks who are like, well, vice versa. Oh no, I have to get an S if I want the cloth, but what if I want the extra features of the SE? So, thank you Volkswagen on that one.
Standard on GTI, and then that takes me to the standard seat for GTI. Same shape, same look, but the nice new sport cloud material and pattern as well.
Pretty sweet. And I've got my own bench back here with my own AC touch system, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Talk us through the driver's view. I mean, I can still see that chunky GTI steering wheel. I see very much the driver's oriented cockpit from mine.
Okay, that's cool. That actually has rear, like the Golfs of the Mark 7s have always had rear vents, but it's actually nice that they actually have rear climate control. Probably an upgraded trim level type of thing like SE, maybe Autobahn, I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Angle over here.
It's very much at its heart a driver-focused vehicle. This is still a GTI at heart, but at the same time, it's taken a shift towards a very digital future. So I actually love the combination of both digital and connectivity in being a driver's vehicle. So steering wheel, nice paddles with the DSG. We've got nice GTI accents on the leather-wrapped steering wheel also. New haptic feedback buttons, which I actually am a big fan of. I like the way that they respond to touch. You get a little bit of audible feedback also. And then the new heated steering wheel button. Heated steering wheel.
So I'm going to stop in the middle of this, talking about the steering wheel, the haptic feedback, and as well as the infotainment system. As the EV specialist here as well, had a lot of experience with the ID4, and it seems like it's using a lot of that technology that's in the infotainment of the ID4 with all the touch controls and whatnot, and it's smacking it right into the GTI and R here. I already like the steering wheel a lot. I love that they have the heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel in the GTI. That's a great addition. And as well as the touch controls on the infotainment. I think it works pretty well, especially when you get used to it. I actually like this a lot.
Wheel being standard on GTI, and then the digital Cockpit Pro standard on GTI as well, something we didn't have in the previous generation. You'll notice I've got it here in sport mode, which automatically triggers a GTI view that are customized.
Yeah.
Funny story, Volkswagen tried to put the digital cockpit in the Mark 7.5 GTI Autobahn. I think it was in 2019. And they didn't make that happen. So it's really cool that they actually they went full standard on the GTI this time.
We've got all of our lightning sight features here on the digital panel on the left, so automatic headlights, fog lights, defroster even. And then what do you think of
Okay, and I'm sorry to interrupt once again, but the light and sight thing on the left, that's straight out of what they've done with the ID4 as well. Something that I've described to my clients as like your visibility center. So, but I love how Megan put it there. I'm definitely taking that yoink light and sight section that's above your left knee, left side of the dashboard. So you can turn if you've got the more advanced lighting system, you can turn on your light assist and your automatic lights and your poor weather lights and as well as defrost. It's really cool that everything like that is in one section, so it minimizes the buttons that you'll have on the other side for the infotainment. So I like it.
To the right, we've got the beautiful 10.25-inch MIB3 navigation with the Schafer Pro as well.
And I see that's got no buttons, but I believe those sliders super intuitive.
See, like the ID4, like I was talking about.
You can slide between your temps, chat speed, volume, all that stuff that you can control. And then I like the very quick kind of access menu just below that with the hazard signs over there. You've got access to your climatronic system,
Right.
driver assist systems, your different drive modes, and then also your parking menu, right?
Yeah,
So-
very quick access to all of the climate controls. So by the way, a single zone climatronic is standard, with a 3-zone climatronic being standard on Autobahn.
Aha, so there must be an Autobahn.
You can customize those features really easily, get into the new the drive mode selection menu really easily as well. So no sweat there, and then you just tap out next, get back to the home button for the MIB3 screen, and it's really easy from here.
Cool. Then I know just focusing down on the center console, no more big stick shift over there, so talk us through this little interesting button here on there.
So it's a little bit different now. It's a DSG still, same system. It's a shift by wire, so the controls are a little bit different. But rest assured, you can still have sport mode. You can still enter in sport mode. You can still manually shift just like before. So no changes there. And what that does do is it frees up a little bit of space here to have some extra storage. We've got a cool adjustable cup holder. Wireless charging is standard.
Yay.
And we still have an adjustable and opening, sliding center console there. The Mk8 R has this feature as well.
Ooh, it opens.
Electronic parking brake, new feature for GTI. A really cool start-stop button, which you might notice a little touch there when the car is at rest and is waiting for you to start.
Right.
It'll pulse like a heartbeat, which is kind of cool.
And of course the manual still gets a proper manual gear stick.
It sure does. Yeah, still 6-speed. It's got the golf ball dimples on it as you grip it, so it's got that classic GTI feel.
The other feature I also love is the sunroof, where you just with a slide of the finger, basically.
It's like the
opens the sunroof,
84.
which I think is ultra cool too, right?
Yeah.
Super cool. So a lot more tech, a lot more digital, but still
Absolutely.
a driver-focused cockpit, right?
Yeah, and one of the things you love as being a driver is having a great audio system. And we have an all-new optional Harman Kardon premium sound system on GTI with 480 watts, and it sounds really great.
Going Harman Kardon.
All right, we got another star.
No more Fender.
We got to talk about the R.
I'm going to split this up into two parts, and since we're moving on to the R at this point, give you my full take on the GTI. I think it looks great. And, I'm getting used to seeing it. The fog lights down below. See how those look in the sheet metal when it comes in. But overall, I like the vehicle a lot, and the features that they've added and made optional, and the trim packages. Again, I haven't seen the order guides quite yet, but it does sound like, like I said, you can have the cloth or leather option in the SE model. Automatic or manual all throughout the lineup. The touch controls for everything, like the sunroof and climate control, and infotainment and steering wheel, and the light and sight on the left. It all looks great. I just can't wait for it to get here. And also, of course, the bumper power, 245 over 271. That sounds amazing. And just want to shift it, I'm glad that we're able to get that manual transmission here in the United States. So that's my take on the GTI. And then we're going to move on to the Golf R here.